report, I assume that trying to incorporate as much information as possible in the report. Yeah, so that later on down the road, we got a good idea. That witness that was eyewitness to the accident, that would have been a critical witness, correct? Yes. Find that information out. I just left it out. They did leave it up. That's why you do that vital material information out of the report. Not witness, you saw my client talk with the same one. I normally don't see that. We'll remove the dash cam. You know when it was removed? Do you know where it went after the individual removed it? So the first time you saw this video was when? Oh. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. I saw it this morning. I was sent to me myself. So if you didn't see that accident, you didn't look. How do you know that that audio was not fault? I trust the work of my fellow officers. Verify it. The premise based on what someone else told you. You do not know that name. Right here. Correct. Do you recognize that name if I gave you the name? No. Are you certain that you placed or incorporated the eyewitness's name in your report? Yes. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And a redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor.
Thank you. Petitioner will be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Call the next witness, please.
State Paul's Corporal Joseph Benson with the Georgia State Patrol.
Good morning. My name is Corporal Joseph Benson, JOSEPHVINCENT. I am the team leader for the Specialized Collision Reconstruction Team here in Atlanta.
You're a law enforcement officer? You're post-certified?
I am
And how long have you been with the Georgia State Patrol?
a little over 10 years.
Been post-certified during that entire time?
Correct.
Now, you said a Specialized Collision Reconstruction Team, that's where you work?
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you do?
Our primary responsibility is to assist the field troopers in the successful prosecution of vehicular homicides or serious injury cases.
And how do you do that?
By just investigate what they can. They don't have time to go deep into the things of the nature of these crashes, so we are able to just dive deeper into the investigation than they can.
Okay. And in April of this year, did you get involved in the investigation of the collision involving a victim named Helio Garcia?
Correct.
All right, and what was the date of this collision?
April 15th.
And where did this collision occur?
On Flat Shoals Road.
Where on Flat Shoals Road, approximately? In what county was it on? And when did you get involved in the investigation?
I'm just, like I said, I'm the supervisor for the team, and the on-call trooper who works for me was notified of the collision. I'm assuming soon, just as soon as it happened. Responded to the scene, took photographs of the scene, assisted the Trooper Donaldson and the on-scene officers in document roadway evidence, taking photographs, and I think his response time was around 45 minutes or something like that. But Trooper Phillips initially responded to the scene and did that stuff.
And during the course of your investigation, did you obtain any data from an airbag control module inside a Infiniti vehicle?
Yes, sir. I did apply for search warrants in Fulton County, and we were able to successfully retrieve airbag modules from both vehicles.
All right, and you said there were two vehicles?
Correct. There was a black Infiniti QX70 and then a black South Fulton Police Department marked Ford Explorer.
So you download the airbag control module from both of those?
Correct.
Starting with the Infiniti, what was your understanding regarding who was in control of the Infiniti?
You mean, I didn't hear.
Who was driving the Infiniti?
Oh, the female here in the courtroom.
Okay. And how do you go about extracting or downloading the data from the airbag control module?
So first, you again obtain a search warrant through Fulton County. We were at that point retrieving data from the vehicle, so we need a search warrant. You would need to be trained in CDR technician and CDR analyst, which I'm trained in both of those, to extract the data using a Bosch CDR equipment kit.
Is that spelled B-O-S-C-H?
Correct.
Okay.
You then you go into Bosch's computer software and see if the vehicle is supported. So Trooper Phillips did that while he was on scene. So if you don't mind, I'll backtrack just a little bit. But when he sends the notification email, so that's he sends us, hey, this is what we got. This is the next case number. Then he will get with the investigating trooper and see what the tag numbers are or VIN numbers are, and then put that into that Bosch CDR system, and it will tell you if it's supported or not. Not all vehicles are supported. Not all year models, not all makes are supported, and it's just very dependent based on what that is. But in this case, these particular vehicles were both supported, and it was on the scene that they were supported. And in that initial email submitted by TFC Phillips, and that's just a notification email, just saying, hey, heads up, we got some work we got to do, right? So I started working on search warrants, got the search warrants, and then we completed that.
All right. And when you downloaded the data from this, when we're talking about the Infiniti here, the airbag control module, what did it tell? What did this data tell you?
Several things. I will say that the data supported the roadway evidence. I will say that the data supported the video evidence that we reviewed. The speed reported from the Infiniti was 98 miles an hour. And if I recall correctly, the speed from the Explorer was around 45, something like that. It was right around the speed limit.
So when you say the speed of the Infiniti was 98 miles an hour, when was the Infiniti traveling in that vehicle?
Approximately 5 seconds prior to impact.
All right, and so the airbag control module, how often does it record the speed of the vehicle?
Yeah, so that's also very dependent based on models. So some models give you 25 seconds out, some give you 30, some give you 5. But mostly, the common number is 5 seconds out, and it could be in half-second increments, 10 seconds of increments. It just depends on the models.
All right, so with this Infiniti, it was traveling at 98 miles an hour. Would that be in most 5 seconds before the collision?
I'm sorry, well, that was at 5 seconds prior to collision.
It was
At most, correct.
Okay. And do you recall the time or the speed it was traveling at the time of the collision?
I do not recall the time of collision.
What was the speed limit, the posted speed limit on that?
I believe it was 45. or 50, but I had to look back at the crash report, if that's okay.
Sure, yes, please.
Yeah, so close to 45, excuse me.
Okay. So twice the speed.
Correct.
You said that what you saw in the airbag control module was also consistent with the roadway markings?
Yes, sir.
And what do you mean by that?
So, part of our investigation, again, is to document roadway evidence, to document all evidence, and also to see if anything may have contributed to the collision. So we're looking at multiple things, anything that could have contributed, right? So the roadway did have tire marks and gallop marks indicative of an impact that would have matched the CDR data and also did match the video data. So you can tell rotation and area of impact based off of gallop marks, tire marks, things like that.
Okay. And the video, which video are you referring to?
The dash cam video, and it was obtained by TFC Phillips as well from South Fulton Police Department.
And that's the dash camera video that was mounted in Lieutenant Helio Garcia's Ford Explorer?
Correct.
And how was that video obtained?
TFC Phillips, also a CERT member, the one who was on call, coordinated with South Fulton Police Department, I believe it was Major Rogers, and obtained that video evidence.
And going to the airbag control module, 5 seconds before impact, Lieutenant Helio Garcia's vehicle, if I understand you correctly, is going about 45 miles.
Yeah, it was right there with the speed limit.
And Austin, were you able to determine during your investigation that the driver of that Infinity, Santoria McLean, was under the influence of alcohol?
Yes, sir. Again, like I said, our objective is to see what may have contributed to any collision, any investigation that we conduct. And we took a search warrant for the blood tubes that were taken at Grady Hospital to see if she was impaired or not. It was spoken on scene that she may have been impaired by officers on scene. And that message was relayed to me via TFC Phillips, but he was told that by the on-scene investigator that other officers had said that she smelled like alcohol.
Okay, so you obtained a search warrant to obtain a vial of blood that was extracted from the defendant at Grady Hospital?
Yeah, correct. A lot of times on your initial entry to a hospital, they'll draw blood tubes for multiple reasons, and we try our best to get the blood that's as close to the admission as possible into that hospital. Sometimes it's not, so sometimes it's not practical, but we try to call and place holds on blood tubes in every crash.
You recall, so this collision occurred at 11:13. Do you recall when the staff at Grady drew the blood from the defendant's arm?
I do not, no, sir. It would have been labeled on the blood tubes, that I believe that information would be on the GBI toxicology report, but I don't have it.
All right. And speaking of the GBI toxicology report, is that the report that the GBI, Division of Forensic Science, issues after analyzing the blood for alcohol content?
Yes, sir.
And was the blood that was obtained via a search warrant, the same blood that was extracted from the defendant, was that blood analyzed by the GBI?
Yes, sir.
And have you reviewed the report that they issued?
I have briefly, yes, sir.
And what did the GBI Division of Forensic Sciences conclude was the defendant's blood alcohol content?
It was a 0.19.
Okay, 0.19. Now is the time of day for the hospital.
And like I said, we try our best to get the blood upon admission to the hospital, but it's not always the case, so it could be higher depending on what time it was drawn.
It was just, her blood was drawn by the hospital staff at Grady sometime on the night, unfortunately, after the early time.
Correct, absolutely. It was on that day. If we could, absolutely.
So sometime it could be hours after the collection of blood alcohol content.
Absolutely, and then you would expect for it to be lower than that.
Vincent, are you certain that you obtained a search warrant to, regards to testing the blood that was extracted from my client?
Not myself personally, no, sir. So like I said, I'm in charge of the team, and, I believe it was Trooper Phillips who obtained the search warrant.
Okay. Was Trooper Phillips also responsible for obtaining the search warrants of the vehicle?
No, sir, that would be myself.
And was that done prior to requesting for the search warrant of the blood?
I don't believe so. I think the blood was, we tried as fast as we can to get that search warrant done, so I think the vehicles were done afterwards, but I don't recall exactly.
And the reality is you had nothing to do with extracting any blood, is that correct?
Other than giving the order.
Let me rephrase that, that's quite a cool question. You physically did not medically extract any blood from my client, is that correct?
No, sir, yeah, medical professional, please.
And you would have had or played no role in the blood that was extracted being transferred to GBI, is that correct?
I personally would not have, but the Trooper Phillips. So when you go to Grady, you place a blood hold, or you place a hold on the blood. One of us will follow up there, and we will be given the blood vials by the, I think it's the toxicology department or something like that, and they sign their names on them, and then we then put them in GBI blood kits and submit them there.
And as far as the blood being extracted and then being transported to the GBI office, you had nothing to do with that, is that correct?
No, sir, but TFC Phillips, yeah.
So it's my understanding you had nothing to do with the chain of custody with regards to that blood, is that correct?
No, sir.
Okay. With regards to the dash cam video, did you play any role in extracting that information from the video, from the vehicle?
Other than giving the order to do so, no.
Okay, and who would have done that?
Who would have asked for the video evidence?
Let me read that. Who would have been responsible for extracting the information from the dash cam on Lieutenant Garcia's vehicle?
I don't want to assume, but I mean.
You don't know?
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Okay.
Someone in their agency.
Okay. Have you ever seen the dash cam video?
I have.
Okay, when was that?
Saw it today, and a couple of days after the accident. So today was not the only time I've seen it. I just wanted to refresh my memory today.
And that's fine. You say you saw it a couple of days after the accident?
Correct.
Okay, and where would that have been?
Where did I see the video?
Where would you have been when you saw that video?
I don't recall. I guess the office, at the Garcia office in Atlanta, at headquarters of Georgia State Patrol.
Okay, how would you have retrieved that video?
Via email. It was, I believe, a Dropbox link or a Google Doc link or something like that. Zoom link.
Would that have come from Trooper Phillips?
It would have came directly from Southwood PD.
Okay, so someone from Southwood
Yes,
PD
sent
would
that to-
have had to have sent that to you, correct?
To Trooper Phillips, correct.
Someone from Southwood PD sent it to Trooper Phillips,
Correct.
and then Trooper Phillips sent it to you?
No. See, I'm the supervisor. I review everybody's cases. I have access to all of it. A lot of our things are done via team where I do have access to all of it because I have to finally approve all these cases. So that's the only reason I have any business looking at things because I have to approve the cases. But the video was sent directly from Southwood PD to Trooper Phillips, at which point I can go into his case file and view whatever because I have to approve it.
Where's Trooper Phillips?
He's on, his office is in my office.
And where's that?
959 United Avenue, Atlanta, the Georgia State Patrol headquarters.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and a redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor. Stay Russ.
May the witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for coming in, Corporal, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, the state has arrested Mr. Richardson and Mr. Felony. Witnesses will present any evidence.
No witnesses or any evidence, Your Honor.
All right, I will hear argument, gentlemen.
Your Honor, the state respectfully requests that the court find probable cause on a total of 8 counts. Those first 3 counts are homicide by vehicle in first degree. One of the homicide by vehicles in the first degree is predicated on reckless driving, and the next two were predicated on driving under the influence of alcohol, with one of the DUI charges being per se, because the accused was at least, blood alcohol content was at least 0.08, and the other one being less safe, that she was operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol to the extent it was less safe for her to drive. Then count 4 is reckless driving. Count 5 is the driving under the influence of alcohol per se charge. Count 6 is the driving under the influence of alcohol less safe charge. Count 7 is the improper erratic lane change, which is one of the charges on the calendar. And count 8 is too fast for conditions. So in total, I'm asking for 4 additional counts to the 4 that were already on the calendar. I'm asking for 2 additional homicide by vehicle in the first degree counts and 2 driving under the influence of alcohol counts.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Richardson, sir.
Your Honor, in light of the new information and the new evidence that I just received today, I think there is probable cause to find more of those additional charges. Coming in here, I still had a different position, but in light of the geography, I think my name is going to die, but we'd like to address the court with regards to bond at some point.
Okay, I can do that, Mr. Wilson, sir. Is there an outstanding pleading that you moved for law in this case already?
No.
I'll take that, Mr. Wilson. Based on the testimony of the witnesses presented here today, I decline probable cause to find over on homicide by vehicle in the first degree with the underlying is reckless driving, driving improper or erratic lane change, reckless driving standing alone, too fast for conditions, another count of homicide by vehicle in the first degree using the less safe DUI statute, an additional count of homicide in the first degree using the per se DUI statute. Additionally, the DUI standing alone under the per se and the DUI standing alone under the unsafe. So I will bind over on all 8 of those. Mr. Richardson, I typically do not hereby the state, if nothing is filed, the state wasn't put on notice and they have to have 10 days to notify their victims. So let me just go ahead and take a look at the pleadings that have been filed in this matter.
Also, Judge, I would like to bring to your attention, Attorney Richardson has not filed entry to this case.
Okay.
I filed an entry 3 times, but where it's going, I don't know, Judge.
All right, so on 5/16, it's up at law first appearance before Judge Watt. At that point, he set bond on misdemeanors but not on the felony, so it is in a no bond 30 case right now. And Attorney Richardson, I don't know what's happening with your entry either. It's not here. Maybe just while you're, sometimes the computer just doesn't catch up with us fast enough. But I am willing to set it down for a bond hearing. Go ahead and get your bond motion filed. Go ahead and get your entry. It may be safer to just do it while you're in the building. And then that will give the state enough time, under Watson's law, to notify the victims who would like to testify and prepare them. Fair enough? All right, thank you.
Who should that be filed? Because I filed it 3 times.
You'll be able to go down to TG 200 and you'll be able to e-file there in person with the clerk's office.
E-file?
Or you can, if you were able to e-file is also accessible via Tyler Odyssey, I believe it's
Yes. You've been doing this as long as I have, so we're used to papers, right?
Well,
But everything is e-file now, so that.
My office is e-file, I didn't paper, but we faxed it over, we filed it through mail, so. But
I have
I'll follow up.
no reason to doubt what you're saying to me. I completely believe you that something is happening after you're filing it. So maybe one more time, and then like I said, we'll set it down for a bond motion, and that will give the state time to notify all the folks, okay?
Would that be before you,
It will be before me if it is pre-indictment. If it goes to a grand jury and is indicted prior to then, it will go to the assigned superior court, whoever pops up on the list. If it's unindicted, it's me. Okay? All right, thank you, everyone. Just as a human being, I'm so sorry for your loss. Okay? I cannot plan to any decision I make from the bench, but I would just be stone cold if I didn't at least acknowledge that and say to you, I'm sorry, and thank you for your service out there. Okay? All right, then, let me see who signed in next. These things.
Check.
Excuse me.